So two paths when you consider moving to Business Central. So we have the traditional upgrade approach, which is option number one, and then we really have the implementation approach, which would be option number two. So again, if you've got an on-prem NAV system, you know, a lot of factors go into this to determine, do we take a traditional upgrade approach, or do we really take an implementation approach to moving to Business Central? And I think, you know, aside from cloud or not cloud, this is going to be the biggest question you deal with. And there's a lot of factors that go into this. So what I want to do is just really outline sort of what these factors are. Some of them are going to apply to you, some of them are not going to apply to you. Again, this is going to be a big decision for you to make. So in terms of what a traditional upgrade approach looks like, so Microsoft provides the utility for an upgrade to Business Central, okay? But there are still some things, to consider. And the biggest thing to consider here is the customizations and ISV products that you have in NAV that you may or may not want to bring into Business Central. So as I said, customizations need to be rewritten or updated, if you will, from C-side customizations to extensions. Microsoft does provide a utility that would convert C-side modifications to extensions. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So, you know, quite frankly, sometimes customizations are done in such a way that using the utility to convert it to extensions just isn't an option. So what has to happen, even with a traditional upgrade approach, is customizations need to be evaluated. So if you're using an ISV product that has a version that's available in an extension, you know, that's one question to ask. If you have an ISV product that has a NAV version, but it doesn't have an extension version, now you have to think through that. You know, do we deprecate the ISV? Do we not use it anymore? Do we find a different ISV? Some of the ISVs will offer an extension version that's just not available in the marketplace. So we need to look at what those ISV products are, and then again, think about the upgrade process as you move forward. One of the larger clients we worked with, you know, they had a number of ISV products in their initial implementation. Well, what they found is that they actually didn't need them and didn't really use them. So in the process of migrating from NAV to Business Central, we just pulled some ISV products out of the system. This is also an opportunity really to evaluate your customizations. You know, our customizations there, were they created to support old processes? I think if we're honest with ourselves, that's the reason a lot of customizations have been created. You know, we had a process in our old system and we recreated it when we implemented NAV. Maybe now is the time to say, okay, do we really cut the cord and get rid of that old process and rethink how things work? That would be part of the process of evaluating customizations. What's been done in the system? What do you actually need to bring forward? What don't you need to bring forward? We'll go through those customizations with you, you know, and do an evaluation. What easily moves, what has to be rewritten. Sometimes there are customizations that have to be redesigned, right? If it's a code change that's been embedded into some sort of process, there may need to be some rethinking about how that customization is written, how it was developed, and redesign it as an extension. But the traditional upgrade approach then would maintain your data, right? So we recreate the extensions or move the extensions from C-side code, reset up the ISVs or find new ones, and then you run the upgrade process, moves your data forward, okay? So that's sort of that traditional approach. What we're finding is a lot of clients, maybe more than I thought, are actually taking an implementation approach. What that means is you start with a clean system. So instead of starting with your current system and evaluating basically a push process, what are we gonna push, or how are we gonna push that to Business Central? This implementation approach would start with a clean Business Central environment and then really ask the question, what am I going to pull into Business Central from my old system? So thinking about customizations, thinking about ISV products, thinking about your data even, you know, what do I need to move forward in terms of my data? That's an evaluation that can be made, and you can think through, what do I need to bring? Some clients that have, you know, years of data, you know, and it's maybe more cluttering your system than anything. Maybe it's time to cut the cord on some of that and say, you know what, we don't need all that data. Maybe it's time to clean up customer and vendor records, or, you know, the thousands of items that you that you don't need anymore in your system that you want to purge, right? That can be done sometimes in that traditional upgrade approach, but really in this implementation approach, that gives you the opportunity to take a clean slate. The other one I think is really key to this implementation approach is rethinking customizations and processes that may or may not be relevant anymore. Starting fresh would allow you to really in a new way look at your processes and review, can we make them more effective? Can we make them more efficient as we move to Business Central?